Hello and welcome back to Bourbon Barrel Talk. I'm your host, Scott Minton. Today we're back in the Brock Bourbon Bar and we are Jack Daniels in it out again. What's up with that?
Dog. Yeah.
Sometimes you got to get that JD love.
Well, I ain't going to lie. These are also bottles I bought like 5 months ago.
Something like that.
They were sitting in there. They were Distillery only single barrels. So let's talk about these single barrels. Nick, what do you got, bud?
All right, we have the, if everybody's used to it, seen it out in stores, it's a Jack Daniel's single barrel, barrel proof. This is that gold label that you will see. Those typically higher, they sit somewhere about, 125 or higher. This clocks in at 131.7 proof. And I will say
131.7.
But I say it smells every bit of it, on that first nose that I did of it.
I'm really swishing it, trying to make sure we
So am I.
air it open, lighten it out, do whatever we got to do. Mm-hmm. It's got a lot going on, though, on this nose. I can tell automatically. It's got some ethanol, which is it's hard to get past, so that's the reason I'm trying to open it up as much as I possibly can.
The nostril hairs are on fire right now.
Yeah. I'm almost tempted to dump it into another glass. I mean, it is a trick. Mm-hmm. It's a trick of the trade. I'm shaky. So I will say, my initial instinct was ethanol, lots of sweetness, and some baking spice.
Yes.
Now after I've switched it around quite a bit, it's starting to get more baking spice, a little floral.
Yeah. Touch of sweet.
Touch. Touch.
Yeah, that aeration has gotten that ethanol kind of out of there. It's almost like it kind of hung at the bottom of there. But
Wow, Barbara. That was a big
Yeah,
reminds me of Master
took a
P.
pour.
Make them say,
na 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 na
Na na na.
Wow.
So the sweet I taste or smell, I haven't tasted yet, is probably more in the wheat area, but the sweet is hitting me. I don't know.
It is very greeny. It's very like a sweet green, fieldy, like.
I'm mostly like spring wheat or winter wheat. I
Funny
see where
thing
you're
is
going.
there's
with
no
that.
weed in this.
I know, but I'm trying.
No,
to
I
put
get what you're saying. I understand. I fully understand exactly what both of you are saying. It's just like
there's
We
no
said
wheat.
wheat.
I know
Wheat.
wheat.
Tee-ta-ta.
I was hoping you were saying weed.
Let's start a new market here.
We'll start a new podcast. Bourbon and bongs.
Na 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 na.
Patent pending. Shit, they're going to legalize marijuana. I better get ready for this podcast. We'll have famous recipes.
You must say we need to do one podcast. Pop a gummy 30 minutes before starting the podcast and see what happens.
I'm fat. It's going to take at least 2. Sorry. Bourbon and bongs. I actually kind of like that. Patent pending. I've done said it. It's recorded.
Exactly. February 13th.
Yep.
Y'all try and steal it.
Loving the palate on this. I mean, it's hanging from front to back.
I just
Kinda
can't get past the nose. It's got so much going on.
It does have so much going on.
Baking spice, there's floral notes, there's sweetness, there's a light fruit that I can't pick up yet. I'm trying to pick it up, but I can't pick it up.
Let's take your time.
It's weird. It's almost like it's apple, and I've never in my life ever gotten apple off of Jack Daniels. It's usually banana, or it's like a...
Are you thinking about apple blossom almost?
I don't even know. That's what I said. Like, my brain is like... it's. I feel like my eyes are twitching.
Yeah,
It's just so crisp. Like it's like almost like an apple or a pear or something like that. And I just never get that off of Jack. Like it's either banana, and then on some occasions, especially if it's a little older and it's got a little bit more darkness to it, I'll get more like that cola, like cherry cola-esque, like sweetness. I don't know. All right, I'm diving in. Nick, you give out your nose, brother. You go first.
All right. So, I don't know. The best way I could describe it is as soon as it hits the palate, you start getting the tingle. And the tingle resonates. It stays. I'm like from the tip of my tongue, underneath the tip of my tongue, all the way to the back palate. It is just, the tingle continues. Now, from a taste standpoint, I get a quick hitter of sweetness in the mid palate. And then once we start going to that mid and back palate, there's just that oak or kind of like a wood tannin that just kind of permeates and kind of stays there and hangs for a little bit, like hair in a biscuit.
Yes, it is. It is oily.
Yeah,
it's got a lot of oil. I'm still trying to pick up that fruit note.
Kofi's almost having an exoteric experience. The way that he's just kind of looking off into this space.
Is that like something between an exorcism and an esoterics?
No.
Exoteric.
Well,
Nick and I will mess up anything if we give us enough time.
Please, yes, we will.
Jump right on it.
I was evaluating the tingle on my tongue, y'all.
Okay.
It's got a lot.
And
It's got a lot.
And it's floral. It's a tingle with floral notes.
now I'm like 3 sips in, and the tingle reduced for me. But again, it is hard for me to source what I still feel the sweet. Maybe I can get some wood notes, but that grain feel is what is still hitting me the most.
Yeah, I'm still getting kind of that kind of wood tannin, maybe slightly floral, but it just tastes to me like a deep wood, dark wood. That's just kind
The
of
funny
hitting.
thing is, it does have quite a bit of those oak tannins, and that's what's giving off that oily texture. But it's nowhere near as dark as
No.
like the rye is like
Almost twice as
dark.
dark.
Yes, the rye is dark. So when I get this in my mouth, I'm expecting like not to be that robust on the oak side.
Right.
I'm still shaking it up. I'm wondering if it's not going to still open up.
Yeah, I'm going in for science.
Yeah.
I've already dripped.
Yeah, the more I shake this up, the more sweetness is coming out of it.
Come on,
at least
shut
on the nose.
Shake that moneymaker. Shake it.
Shake, shake, shake,
Shake,
your money
senora.
maker.
Well, for me, it is comforting to know it is the bourbon because I would expect more heat as I've embraced my rye love, and I'm not feeling that. As much as you felt the tingle,
No.
I'm not feeling it so much.
So now I've really put a ton of air in this thing. It is a totally different pour now. So I'm scared to add water.
No, I can understand that.
I'm not sure I want to add water.
No, you don't. It is.
So here, Nick, revisit this one. After I've shook the bejesus out of that thing.
Well, we know.
He likes to shake.
Oh yeah, I get a lot more sweetness.
Yeah.
on at least on the nose.
Yeah. It's still got a ton of floral, but the baking spice mellows out. The more I've put into it, the more air it's gotten.
Gone more baking spice, less wood tannin, and slight floral, just kind of like creeping around the edges. Now, after I put in the drop, it like the mouthfeel exploded, but it was a mixture of wood and floral that just kept intermingling. Now, like literally, I felt it from like the palate all the way to the roof of my mouth and like on the sides of the tongue. It was, to me, that just like that water made it explode.
It just dulls. It just dulls it out. The water dulls it. All right, I'm going to take a little sip here of water, cleanse my palate. I'm going to go in on this rye. I knew I should have brought that Chex Mix.
I got Chex Mix upstairs for you.
That full cleanse.
Should have known. Should have known.
My mom's homemade Chex Mix.
Yep.
All you had to do was say it.
Spicy or sweet?
Sweet.
Yeah, it's more
Gotcha.
sweet. So the next one is the Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye. Clocks in at 133.4 proof.
133.4.
Even though it has a more proofage, it does not smell it. You're not getting the ethanol. You're not getting that.
No.
No.
Is that fruit?
The question is, which fruit is it? I almost get like dried apricot.
Thank
Smells
God
like-
Jared ain't here.
Smells like bread pudding.
Maybe a little.
Like if you took some brioche and a little bit of like maybe sourdough and then like some kind of like really, really mild rye.
Okay.
And you mix it all together, put it into a little bread pudding. And then after it's had all that other stuff added to it, that's just kind of the
Yeah.
nose I'm getting.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
There's some baking spice there, some sweetness.
I like your selections. They're working for me.
And the reason I say I picked brioche as a very specific
Yeah.
bread because of the fact that there's something like a sweet texture that's coming through
Right.
on the
That's
nose.
what it was. And I'm wondering if
I
that's
agree.
where I'm getting like that dried apricot is a little bit of that sweet.
Could be.
Can I change your apricot maybe to closer to like a one of those sweet dates?
That's tomorrow, Valentine's Day, sweet date.
But I'm because I it's almost like a more full bodied fruit smell. But
Plausible.
It's definitely a darker fruit. I would agree with Nick. Sorry, that was a little.
Yeah, I know. It's like, do you have some cheese over there?
The good thing is I'll edit it out, but
Yeah. Taste, dates.
Interesting.
I'm more fig.
No, I'll agree with that. I was actually in my mind before you said that. I was thinking
Like Sir Isaac himself, almost like a Fig Newton. Like the more I think, like I'm sitting back and I'm drinking this.
I was thinking the jam that's inside the Fig Newton.
Yeah.
I wasn't, like, because there's sometimes you can like just bite into a Fig Newton and you know that everything that. But I'm thinking of that jam that's inside the Fig Newton.
Well, I'm thinking about that, right? But then I'm also thinking about the outside cookie
outside,
shell.
right.
Really is kind of that bread pudding.
Oh,
that
yeah,
I was
I got
picking
you,
up
I
on the
got you, I
nose.
got
Yeah. I can see that. Totally can see that.
That bread crust.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
on there.
But now, smell the nose now. Like, now that I've said Fig Newton, I swear to God, that's like all I can smell now. Freaking Fig Newton.
Figs. Oh, yeah.
That is crazy.
That is crazy.
I'm not gonna lie, that's wild.
Little got stuck it up in my nose. Second, I was like, "Oh my God, it's a Fig Newton."
Well, I wasn't even thinking Fig Newton, but until I got to the taste, and whenever you start tasting that, I was actually.
But when
thinking
you
that
said
way.
dates, I was like, "Oh, that makes sense." And then like the more the texture and the sweetness was coming through, I'm like, and I'm pretty sure Fig Newtons probably have dates in them. It's probably fig, dates,
Dates.
Yeah,
plum. It's probably got a couple of those different dark fruits, and then they mix the spice in with it.
yeah.
I don't know that for a fact. It just wouldn't surprise me to get that texture.
True. Yeah.
God, the more and more I do that I almost want. I have some Fig Newtons upstairs, or not like Fig Newtons, but
Oh
some
my
of those-
God, Nick, stop! Oh, I've got that too. Oh, wait, I got this.
No, we've got fig bars.
We have fig bars, but
fig
it's
bars. It's
not like Fig Newtons.
blueberry and raspberry flavored.
Okay. I got that upstairs. I was like, man, I think this would go well with Chex Mix. I got that upstairs.
I got you. I got you covered.
There's a reason we come to the Brock's house.
They probably have figgy pudding too.
No,
No.
that we don't have.
But
That would solve the bread pudding and the fig. You know, come on, what's up?
I'm telling you that, like, it's crazy that, like, that is all I can taste now.
you
There's
know,
like baking spice and Fig Newtons.
you know what the funny thing is? I've been holding on to one of those Terry's chocolates.
Chocolate
upstairs.
oranges?
Yes. Upstairs for next time we hit it. I was going to bring that down and just like serve it to everybody.
I'm telling you, those things are so good. I ate 2 of those over Christmas break. I'm not kidding. I was on vacation. I ate 2 entire. Actually, I take it back. I ate 2, and 99% of one. I have 1 piece left. It's wrapped in the little gold foil package, and it's sitting on in the bowl with all of our other candy that's left over from Christmas.
Wow.
Becky's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "When I want this, I want this. Don't ask questions.
Do not touch.
Do not touch." Because one day in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to want this.
You're going to taste something that's going to be very close to it, and you want to reference it.
That's exactly what's going to happen. I'm gonna open a bourbon is what's going to happen, and I'm like, this tastes like a Terry's chocolate orange. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go check. I'm gonna run upstairs, my little fat ass. By the way, so I read this thing about health and wellness and all this other stuff, and it said something about sprinting is a true sign of like your age capabilities and stuff like this. I swear to God, I think I tore my groin trying to sprint.
I believe it.
The question is, what were you sprinting for?
I did not. I just wanted to see if I could do it still. I literally just don't. I don't run anymore. Like, I mean,
All right, did you stretch?
no, God, no.
Exactly. It's a sign that he never really ran before. No one does 0 to 60 without a little stretch, Scott.
No, listen, I used to run miles and miles and miles. I mean, I used to run like 35 miles a week.
How many years
But-
ago?
Oh, yeah, it's been like 10 years.
And you stretched in those instances. How you
No,
gonna go?
I really didn't, Kofi. I was never one of those dudes.
you're-
That's your problem.
You're
Like,
a younger
see,
boy at that time.
I remember
that
these
too.
assholes like getting ready to, like we'd go run a mini marathon, right? Like I would, pull my legs back, stretch my knee a little bit, do that.
little bit.
But these dudes would like literally like put their arms on the wall and they're like doing like long kicks like
Yes.
they're sprinters and actual like real runners, like, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what on earth is wrong with you? You are not that serious. That's what I would say. That's what I would say to myself. I would never say it to them because maybe he was that serious. But then I would roll out. I would run my mini in like an hour and 45 to an hour and 50 minutes, which is a damn good time. It's
Yeah.
very respectable. And like some of these dudes that were working all hard, they'd be coming at like 210. I'm like, what was all that for, dog? Like I'm just out here strolling, having a good time, averaging, 850 on my mile and just running, and you're literally stretching every muscle in every part of your glute, your leg, your hamstring, and no, I'm just not that dude.
I'm going to break it down with middle distance to long distance or short distance. There's going to be slow twitch to fast twitch. And with the sprint, you're going to call on your fast twitch muscles. And if you haven't helped them get warm, they're going to fire and...
Dude, I am the slowest fucker on the planet. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that, but it's the truth.
Well,
I'm so slow. It takes me an hour and a half to watch 60 minutes. I'm so slow. It takes me 3 minutes to make minute rice. I'm slow. I've never been a sprinter in my entire life.
And so then why did you try and sprint off the bat?
I don't know. Kofi.
So you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to hurt yourself.
I read something that sprinting was a sign of health. And I was like, I'm fat and I'm out of shape,
and
but I wonder if
your health was.
I wonder if I can sprint. That's exactly what I said. My fat ass said, "Scott Minton, can you sprint still?" And I said, with all fairness, I could never really sprint. I could run, but I could never really sprint. So I was like, get out, jump up off the porch, and I'm like looking at the end of the street. I'm like, I'm just gonna sprint from here to that mailbox. So I look at here to the mailbox, and it's literally like 3 houses down. It's not like it's a far distance. It's like 3 houses.
That's at least 40 probably.
I'm not kidding. Meters. It's probably like 40 meters, maybe 50 tops. I get like 20 meters in. I'm like, fuck this. Like, I'm done. Like,
you're at the end of your driveway.
100. I barely made it past the end of my driveway. I'm in the street, and I'm already huffing and puffing. I'm huffing and puffing like I just was like, screw it. I'm going to go in, fill up the bathtub, pull the plug, fight the current. That's going to be my exercise for the next week. It was that bad.
And as you wanted to assess how old you were with the sprint, you realized you were pretty old.
Dude, I must be like 60. I have no idea. So I've decided after doing this 3 weeks ago that I've got to lose some weight or do something because this is bad. It is bad. I mean, it is not good, Kofi.
I'm about to say, you saying that brings me back to whenever I used to play football. And for the longest time, whenever I was doing training and everything for football, it wasn't until a coach kind of said, whenever I was trying to do some weight training, that football is more or less short bursts. Mm-hmm. And you have to look at it that. And so you're training, you need to train in short bursts. Mm-hmm. Any type of long distance longevity, is good for stamina for a whole game. But each time you're firing off the line, you're just doing short bursts of, maximally, 5 to 10 seconds. And then that's it.
I heard you were good at short burst. Anyway, back to Jack Daniels. By the way, this rye is much better than the bourbon.
I'll agree with that one.
I'm just going to say that right now. I don't know if we're going to... and it's not that the bourbon's bad. This rye's good. This rye is a solid rye.
From a comparison standpoint, there's a lot
I wish
more.
Andy was here to drink this rye.
Oh, yeah.
Was he supposed to be here today?
Call him up.
He thought about it. I think he thought about it. But I think there was some kind of BZA meeting or something.
Oh, yeah.
The city of Jeff today. I don't know.
Excuses. That's all I'm hearing is excuses.
Always.
But, man, figs.
Yeah. I mean,
Sir Isaac
I'm ready to judge.
Gave me his name. I done said mine.
Yeah.
Rye.
I think everybody.
Rye, then bourbon.
Rye bourbon.
Rye bourbon.
It's true. Unanimous. Rye bourbon.
This rye is just absolutely
No, I've had
knocking it out of the park.
Some other versions of the bourbon.
Bourbon that's
and it's
been really good.
That bourbon's good. There's nothing wrong with it.
No.
It's just not as good as this rye.
Right.
All right, so we've learned 2 things on this podcast. A, the Jack Daniels bourbon that we bought is not as good as the Jack Daniels rye. And I am too fat to sprint.
Yeah.
I don't think that's accurate. You actually sprinted, but
it was barely. For one, it was not a sprint. I tried sprinting. It was not a sprint. It was like a
mild jog.
Maybe not even that.
It was a fat charge. Is what it was.
Oh, Lord.
Was it like a water boy charge?
I don't even know what it was. It was something bad. For one, I was afraid I couldn't stop without falling. For 2, I was like, oh, this does not feel good, and I could not breathe. I literally could not breathe.
Yeah, you
So,
gotta be careful about that.
I've learned those two things on this show
Alrighty.
as a reminder. That is our episode of Bourbon Barrel Talk. If you want to find us, you can find us on Facebook, the Instagram, or the X. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. That way you get those episodes as soon as they hit on Sunday mornings. If you have any questions, you can email them to bourbonbarreltalk@gmail.com. This is Scott, Nick, Barbara, and Kofi signing off. Peace.
Peace out.